Triple H just fired Drew McIntyre live at the Royal Rumble, and I am absolutely losing my mind right now. The Scottish Warrior's WWE career just came to a shocking and devastating end in front of 50,000 fans at the Royal Rumble after he attacked Cody Rhodes and threw him out of the match in the most vicious assault we've seen in years. Triple H stormed to the ring furious, grabbed a microphone, and told Drew McIntyre to his face, "You're fired. Get out of my ring. Get out of this arena, and get out of my company." This is the most controversial and absolutely insane Royal Rumble moment in history, and if you're not furious about what just happened, whether you think Drew deserved this or got screwed, then you didn't witness the career assassination that just took place on the biggest stage. Let me break down exactly what happened at the Royal Rumble, because every single detail matters in understanding this absolute chaos. Drew McIntyre entered the Royal Rumble at number 18. And from the moment his music hit, you could see something was different about him. Drew wasn't his usual intense but controlled self. He looked unhinged, like a man possessed by demons, like someone who had completely snapped. He stormed down that ramp with purpose, slid into the ring, and immediately started targeting everyone with a brutality we've never seen from McIntyre before. McIntyre was dominating the Rumble, eliminating multiple superstars with ease, looking like an absolute monster. But then Cody Rhodes' music hit at number 23, and you could see Drew's entire demeanor change. The American Nightmare entered the Rumble to a massive ovation, and when Cody got in that ring, Drew McIntyre stopped what he was doing and just stared at Rhodes with a look of pure hatred. Everyone in the arena could feel the tension. Something was about to go horribly wrong. Cody and Drew circled each other in that Royal Rumble ring, and for a moment it looked like we might get an epic confrontation between two top-tier talents. But then Drew McIntyre did something unforgivable. Instead of engaging Cody in competition, Drew grabbed a steel chair that someone had brought into the match earlier. The referee was trying to restore order with other competitors, and Drew seized the opportunity to commit what can only be described as assault. Drew McIntyre cracked Cody Rhodes across the skull with that steel chair with such force that the sound echoed throughout the entire arena. Cody dropped like he'd been shot, blood immediately pouring from his forehead. But Drew wasn't done. McIntyre hit Cody with a second chair shot to the back, then a third to the ribs. The crowd was screaming in horror, other Rumble participants backed away in shock, and referees were frantically calling for help. This wasn't wrestling. This was attempted murder on live television. Drew McIntyre then grabbed Cody Rhodes' unconscious, bleeding body and threw him over the top rope like he was garbage. Cody crashed to the floor in a heap, EMTs immediately rushing to check on him while Drew stood in the ring with that chair, screaming incoherently about how, "This is my moment. And, nobody takes this from me." The Scottish Warrior had completely lost it, and everyone watching knew we were witnessing something that would change WWE forever. And that's when Triple H's music hit. The chief content officer came storming down that ramp faster than I've ever seen him move, suit jacket flying behind him, face bright red with fury. Hunter slid into that ring like he was ready to fight Drew McIntyre himself. The game grabbed a microphone from the timekeeper, got right in Drew's face, and the words that came out of his mouth shocked the wrestling world. "Drew, what the hell do you think you're doing?" Triple H screamed into that microphone, his voice shaking with anger. "You just attacked the top babyface in this company with a weapon. You hospitalized Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble. You think there are no consequences for that? You think you can just do whatever you want because you're Drew McIntyre?" The intensity in Hunter's voice was real. This wasn't a work, this was legitimate fury from the boss. Drew McIntyre grabbed his own microphone and got nose to nose with Triple H. "I don't care about consequences anymore, Hunter. I'm tired of being overlooked. I'm tired of watching Cody Rhodes get opportunity after opportunity while I get nothing. I did what I had to do to win this Rumble, and if you have a problem with that, then you deal with it." The defiance, the disrespect that Drew showed to Triple H in that moment was absolutely shocking. And that's when Triple H made the decision that has the wrestling world in complete meltdown. The game looked Drew McIntyre dead in the eyes and said words that will echo through WWE history. "You want me to deal with it? Fine. Drew McIntyre, you are fired from WWE, effective immediately. Security, get him out of this building now. His career here is over." The crowd gasped, some people cheered, Others started chanting, "No. No. No." The reactions were all over the place. Drew McIntyre's face went from defiant to shocked in an instant. You could see the reality hitting him. He just lost his job, his career, everything he's worked for over 20 years in this business. Drew dropped the microphone, looked around at the crowd, and for a moment it seemed like he might attack Triple H too. But security flooded the ring, surrounded Drew, and forcibly escorted him up the ramp while he screamed, "You're making a mistake. This isn't over." The image of Drew being walked out will be burned into wrestling history. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes was being loaded onto a stretcher at ringside, still unconscious from Drew's vicious attack. EMTs had his neck stabilized, oxygen mask on his face, and they were rushing him to an ambulance. The Royal Rumble match had to be paused for several minutes while they cleared Cody from ringside. The entire celebration and energy of the Rumble was destroyed by Drew McIntyre's actions and Triple H's shocking decision. Let me tell you why this is the most controversial firing in WWE history. On one hand, Drew McIntyre absolutely crossed the line with that chair attack. Using a weapon to brutalize another competitor, potentially causing serious injury, showing complete disregard for Cody's safety, that's fireable behavior in any workplace. Triple H had to make a statement that this kind of violence won't be tolerated, that there are boundaries even in professional wrestling. But on the other hand, this feels like a massive overreaction that destroys one of WWE's top stars. Drew McIntyre is a former WWE champion, a locker room leader, someone who's given everything to this company for years. To fire him on the spot at the Royal Rumble, in front of the world, without even a suspension or investigation first, that's extreme. It feels like Triple H let his emotions override his judgment as a businessman. The timing of this firing is also suspicious and has fans asking questions. Drew McIntyre has been vocal about creative frustrations, about feeling like he's not being utilized properly, about WWE's obsession with certain stars getting pushed while others are ignored. Was Drew's attack on Cody a desperate attempt to force WWE's hand and get attention? Or was this building frustration finally exploding? Either way, Triple H's immediate firing feels like silencing a voice that was becoming problematic. Social media has exploded with reactions to this Royal Rumble firing. #BringBackDrew started trending within minutes. Fans are divided. Some saying Drew absolutely deserved to be fired for that brutal attack, others saying Triple H destroyed a main event talent over one bad decision. Wrestling journalists are reporting that even WWE locker room is split on whether this was the right call. The controversy is unprecedented. Here's what makes this even more complicated. Cody Rhodes is being rushed to a local hospital with potential concussion, neck injury, and who knows what else from Drew's attack. If Cody is seriously injured and has to miss significant time, Drew McIntyre just derailed WWE's top babyface before WrestleMania season. The business ramifications are massive. Cody was supposed to be in main event programs, and now that's all in jeopardy. But here's the conspiracy theory that's gaining traction. What if this firing is a work? What if Triple H and Drew planned this whole thing to create the most shocking Royal Rumble moment ever? Think about it. Drew gets fired, disappears for a few weeks, Cody recovers and cuts promos about the attack, and then Drew returns as the most hated heel in WWE for a WrestleMania program. The heat would be nuclear. But if it is a work, the execution has been so realistic that even veterans can't tell. The legal implications of this situation are also fascinating. Drew McIntyre has a guaranteed contract with WWE, they can't just fire him without consequences. Drew's lawyers are probably already preparing breach of contract lawsuits. Unless WWE can prove that Drew's actions constitute a violation of his contract's conduct clauses, they're going to owe him millions. Triple H may have made an emotional decision that costs WWE a fortune. Let's talk about what WWE loses by firing Drew McIntyre. They lose one of their most talented in-ring performers, someone who can work with anyone and have great matches. They lose a proven draw who moves merchandise and gets genuine reactions. They lose a veteran presence in the locker room who mentors younger talent. All of that is gone because of one incident. The cost-benefit analysis doesn't make sense unless there's something more going on behind the scenes. The aftermath of this Royal Rumble firing is going to dominate wrestling coverage for weeks. Every podcast, every YouTube channel, every wrestling website is going to be analyzing this decision. Was Triple H right to fire Drew? Should there have been other consequences instead? What does this mean for WWE's willingness to tolerate unscripted violence? The discussions are going to be endless. Here's my prediction for what happens next. Drew McIntyre will be fired for approximately 30 to 60 days, during which Cody Rhodes recovers from his injuries. WWE will hype Cody's return as this triumphant comeback. And then, right when Cody is back and feeling safe, Drew McIntyre returns and attacks him again, revealing that his firing was either reversed on appeal or was a work all along. This sets up a brutal feud for WrestleMania where Cody gets revenge. But there's an alternative scenario that's equally possible. Drew McIntyre's firing is legitimate, and he shows up in AEW within 90 days. Can you imagine the nuclear heat of Drew appearing on Dynamite and cutting a promo about how WWE wasted him, how Triple H is a tyrant, how he's finally free? AEW would have one of WWE's top stars, and the forbidden door would blow wide open. The wrestling landscape would change overnight. The symbolism of Triple H firing Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble is powerful. The Royal Rumble is supposed to be about opportunity, about dreams coming true, about making stars. Instead, it became the setting for a career execution. Triple H sent a message to the entire locker room: step out of line, and you're gone, no matter who you are. It's authority asserting dominance in the most public way possible. What absolutely infuriates me about this situation is that we might never get the Drew McIntyre vs. Cody Rhodes match we deserved. If this had been handled correctly, Drew attacks Cody, gets suspended, they build to a match, we could have had an epic encounter. Instead, we get chaos, confusion, and potentially losing one of WWE's best talents. The booking malpractice is stunning. I want your thoughts on this absolutely insane Royal Rumble firing. Drop your comments and tell me if Drew McIntyre deserved to be fired or if Triple H overreacted. Smash that like button if you're shocked by this decision. Subscribe to WrestleSphere with notifications on because this story is developing by the hour. Was this justified? Is it a work? Will Drew return? Should Cody press charges? What happens to WrestleMania plans? Let me know everything because Triple H just made the most controversial decision in Royal Rumble history by firing Drew McIntyre, and the wrestling world will never be the same.